What's going on, everyone? Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Ducks Dish podcast. I'm your host, Max Torres with ScoopDuck on 3, coming to you on Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. The number 8 now, Ducks return to Eugene for a home matchup against the Minnesota Golden Gophers, who are coming in, I think, at 6-3. That is a Friday night matchup at Autzen Stadium. We could see another wet weather game for Oregon, which would make it 3 straight games for them. But clearly, they have adapted and they know what they're doing when it comes to the rain. We got a big guest that we're going to bring on here in today's show, someone that you guys have shown a lot of love for. But before we do that, this episode is brought to you by the Derman Law Firm PC. Attorney Jacob Y. Derman is a car accident lawyer who fights against the insurance companies for injured Oregonians. If you've been in a motor vehicle accident, call or text Jacob directly at 541 241 6470. That's 541 241 6470. Jacob was born in Medford, raised in Bend, went to college here in Eugene, and now takes cases across every county in Oregon. And he's a diehard Ducks fan, hasn't missed a single game in person, home or away, every season. I am stoked to be joined by Landon Tengwall of the Landon Tengwall Show, college football analyst extraordinaire. Landon, how are you?
Doing well, Max. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, man. I was excited to get you on to preview this game, and then now that we got to see it all play out and we have some film to break down, I think it's going to be a great discussion for us here on the podcast. But before we get into like the cut ups and the X's and O's side of things, I just wanted to look at the big picture for this one. So Oregon has now moved to number 9 in the college football playoff rankings, which feels very fair for them. I think Iowa dropped one spot. And I think that really just kind of speaks to the quality of the win. And then for Iowa, the quality of the loss too, to only fall one spot in the rankings on their end. But when you're looking at the month of November, it's a prove it month for the Ducks. 3 at the time of the rankings came out, 3 top 25 matchups in store for them. It certainly felt like this Iowa road trip was the biggest one of the remaining games, with Minnesota, USC, and Washington left to go.
Yeah, no, I think it showed a lot. It continued what this Oregon team has done, and that's gritty wins, especially at other teams' places. And so I thought it was great. Finding different ways to win too, I think means a lot. So my biggest takeaway was, and that's what we're going to look at on this tape, was Oregon beating Iowa at their own game. They out physicaled them, and they won up front with their offensive line and defensive line, and that's Iowa's bread and butter. That's where they live. They might not necessarily have the most talented defensive line, but I thought their offensive line was one of the best offensive lines in all of college football, and absolutely love what I saw from this D-line. We're going to look at a lot of Bear Alexander. I've been a big fan of Bear. Anybody, if you were watching my content leading up to Oregon, Bear had kind of been on and off at that point, and it was kind of like, all right, what are we going to get? And then just popped on the scene against Penn State with, at the time, was, I still think it probably was, his best game of his career. And he has just continued on that trajectory. And you think you're continuing to see that for a couple other guys. On the offensive line, Poncho, Pregnon playing at a really high level. I think World is really starting to stabilize there and playing some really good football at left tackle. So it was just really cool to see. And then when Dante Moore needed to really turn it on at the end, he turned it on with what I think is one of the more beautiful passes I've ever seen to Benson there, to basically finish off Iowa.
That was a huge play. I mean, the 2-minute drill is something that has become a great tool for Oregon just to have in their back pocket. I don't think you want to be in a position where you're relying on that to set up a game-winning field goal. Kind of like what we've talked about and what we've heard a lot from Dan Lanning this year with regard to the red zone defense. You'd rather avoid that situation altogether. But if the Ducks need it, and they have needed it this season, they've been pretty comfortable turning to Dante Moore to lead the offense down the field in some clutch situations.
Yeah, I think it was really cool to do without Decorian Moore or Kenyon Sadiq. I think that speaks a lot to, once again, the grittiness of the team. It's just like we're going to get it done. We're going to find a way. And I think that is, we talked about it, like hitting that stride. Hopefully this is kind of continuing that hey, we're going to continue to climb and start to hit our peak going into the playoffs. And that's really what you want. If dropping one to Indiana meant kind of finding yourself a little bit more, and finding I don't want to say finding that grittiness. I think they really showed that at Penn State, but just showing, hey, this is what we're made of, and we're building on that. it definitely gets me excited to continue to watch Oregon Duck football.
And I think for Oregon, when you can come into this game and just win the battle, the slugfest that it became, it says a lot about your team. And you kind of hinted at it there with Decorium Moore down, Kenyon Sadiq down, Alex Harkey at right tackle was down. Gary Bryant Jr. catches one pass for you, and then he goes down with what sounds like another ankle injury for him. That's just a tough break. And I think it speaks to the construction of this roster, to the culture that Dan Lanning's built and the DNA traits that we hear about so often. Just their backs were up against the wall. Kinnick's, like you've said so many times, it's not an easy place to play. And for them to get just enough from their guys to eke this one out, it's one of those, like you hear all the time. It's not easy to win in November, so you'll take a win any way you can get it.
Absolutely. No, like I said, continue to be gritty. That's how you're getting it done nowadays. And the team is following the example that Dan Lanning's setting. And so I think that's pretty awesome.
So I'll kind of follow your lead here as far as the film goes. I'm not sure what you had queued up, but I do know that I wanted to ask you maybe off the bat here, Landon, was for some of your thoughts on Janoris Wilson at right tackle, the guy who stepped in for Harkey in his injury, because he's kind of been that sixth man in the rotation for Alik Terry and the Ducks along the offensive line, and they really needed him with Harkey not able to go on Saturday.
Yeah, I thought pass pro was pretty good, honestly. Obviously allowing zero pressure, zero quarterback hits, zero sacks. That was another statement from this Oregon offensive line and Oregon pass pro in general that has struggled at times with protecting more this year. So I think kind of later in the year was very good to start. And then you saw the Indiana game, and there were some questions, even though I didn't think much of it was on the offensive line. That was a statement there. As far as Wilson, like, run game, there were definitely some lapses there and some times that I wrote down his number saying not so great stuff here, but there's also that factor of not being comfortable. Your first, that was his first, yeah, it was his first true start this year, yeah. So you're at Kinnick. So I mean, all that being said, I think it was a very good first start for him. It's definitely an interesting conversation to have of, do you want, and by the way, I think Dave Aiuli is playing really well now, right? He's starting to play better and better as this season goes on. So there's that conversation of, do you want to kick Harkey inside to right guard, where I know you kind of experimented with that a little bit. I believe that was Rutgers. And so I don't know, that's tough. There's nothing on, I'll say it this way, there was nothing on this tape that gave me a definitive answer, like, oh, they should definitely put Harkey at right guard and keep Wilson out there, or Harkey needs to stay at right tackle because Wilson's not good enough. Like, I didn't come away with either conclusion. So I think that kind of makes it rough. And I think the coaches are probably in the same realm. But I'm curious to see how this continues to pan out. But look, knock on wood, obviously never won injuries, but it's good to show that you have the flexibility to have, injuries pop up and you can plug guys in and not only just be okay, but be okay enough to beat another team at their game. And I think we continue to see you even heard it from, I forget who was calling the game, but it was like, wow, look at Oregon. They can actually hang with the big boys. And I'm kind of like, why is that the sentiment? Like, why is that the thought process? I always thought, especially in recent years, like the line play at Oregon's been really good, actually. So I don't know. I thought that was interesting how that's kind of like how the national media perceives Oregon. I don't know if that's because you guys have always been, speed, fast, all that type of stuff. So no one's ever thought of them as being able to just handle guys up front. But that's what I've seen for a little while now from Oregon, honestly.
I was hearing that narrative coming out of this game, and I'm just like, tell me you haven't been watching Oregon without telling me you haven't been watching Oregon, because not only has that been the case since Lanning got to Oregon, that they were a team that plays a physical brand of football on both sides of the line. You could make the argument that was the case under Cristobal. I mean, they produced an Outland Trophy winner in Panay Sewell. So it's not like, wow, did these guys just now get physical? Like, look at the guys on the roster. Look at the guys that they're signing each signing class. I don't know. That was just kind of silly to hear from them. And I'm like, I don't know what Oregon's going to have to do to get people nationally to shift away from this narrative. They have the resources, they have the recruiting, they have the coaches. And now with each year, they have the resume and the accomplishments that back up this isn't a finesse and speed team anymore.
Yeah, I think you put it perfectly. Like I said, I think it's going to take time for the national media to grasp that, because we all get ideas of what a team or a person is, and we kind of just stick that label on until we fully get persuaded otherwise. So I think It's people are starting to realize this, but yeah, I just didn't. I thought it was funny. I was chuckling to myself just kind of seeing that be the national response, like, oh wow, like Oregon can do this, and I'm like, yeah, I think they've been doing it for a while, kind of like you said. So
To hop in back to the point about Janoris Wilson and Harkey here, I think Oregon finds themselves in a interesting spot. Maybe not tricky, but I think a lot of people, and you could probably back this up for me, but like I think it might have been QB11. Someone had said Harkey isn't an NFL tackle. If he goes to the NFL, he's more than likely going to kick inside to play one of those guard spots. So I do wonder if you're the Oregon staff, do you think that the football that Harkey's giving you as a guard is going to be that much more of a net positive that you make the call to kick him in from tackle, and then you put Wilson out there as your starting right tackle the rest of the way, or Harkey's back and you keep him as a right tackle even if that's not necessarily his natural fit? Because I don't know if you want to try to kind of throw that little wrench in the plans, or at least a curveball at the very least, with how close we are to the postseason kind of getting going.
yeah, I think the biggest question for me is if you're going, and this is the Oregon staff and what they have to look at. If you're going against a team with high level pass rushers, and it's all about Dante Moore and can we, keeping him upright, who gives you the best opportunity to do that? Watch it. As much as there was zero pressures, there were still some things that I saw from Wilson in pass pro that weren't great. And obviously Harkey has had his lapses. So that's where I'm like, it's hard for me. Like, I don't know exactly where you go. My guess would be they're probably going to continue to just put Harkey at right tackle because that has worked fairly well for them up to this point. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, I agree. And QB11, I have had talks about that. We definitely agree that Harkey is a guard at the next level. But it's all about right now and how does Oregon get to a national championship? What combination gives them the best opportunity to do that? So like I said, I don't have the answer because I don't think Wilson played in a manner that swung me one way or the other. It was like, oh, he should absolutely be the right tackle from here on out, or like, no, he can't get it done. Like it was definitely somewhere in between that where I thought I saw some really good things, and then there were still some things, and like I said, rightfully so, that it's your first start in a hostile environment where it was like, that wasn't very good. So I'd also be curious, like, is there any chance is Harkey going to be back for Friday
I don't
night?
think he has eligibility
So.
left. Oh, for
No,
Friday.
yeah, for Friday.
I'm not sure. I mean, knowing Oregon, just with the way that they manage injuries, I don't. If there's any hesitancy, I think they just try to hold him back until maybe USC next week. Like if they feel that this is a game, like hey, they should be able to win without Harkey. And I guess you could say the same thing for Decoria Moore and maybe even Kenyon Sadiq. It's just I think we're at a point in the season where the physicality just wears on you. So it's like if you can get him to rest up a little bit more, and hey, you get another great game of experience for Janoris Wilson, maybe you're in a spot where you don't have to play Harkey.
Yeah, I'd almost want to do that because if I'm these Oregon coaches, I'm kind of looking like I want a little bit more tape on Wilson. Honestly, like, I
Yeah.
want to see what he has. So I would be in favor of going that route. And let's see what we got in Wilson. Let's get some more snaps. Let's get 60 more snaps for him, and then we have a lot more tape and another game to kind of go off of to make that decision if we want to slowly start to play around with that and possibly do that. And then also that's something too that you'll have a little bit of time. You're not playing unless obviously unless Ohio State were to lose to Michigan, you're probably not playing in the Big Ten championship. So you have from the last game on whatever the 29th of November, you have almost a full month. So maybe that's some stuff during playoff prep that you're messing around with. And like I said, when you get more reps and you're able to get more tape, you can kind of assess that a little bit better because you can do a lot of things in practice, but nothing makes up or can be game tape. So I think that would be great. I'd love to watch Wilson. I'm excited because a lot of times I do a lot of Oregon, Notre Dame, and obviously a lot of Penn State. So there's so many games I'm hopping around on. I'm excited that Oregon's on Friday night. I'm going to get the live tweeted. I'm going to be all over it. So I'm very excited for that one.
There you go. It's going to be a fun one out there in Eugene. I think the last time I saw the line, it was around 23 points, maybe,
I
but
think
it might have.
it jumped almost a full touch. It was like 6 points or almost 7 points that it's jumped since it opened. So I thought that was interesting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I need to double check what the line was. Maybe one of us can do that on the fly. But I think Oregon enters as a pretty heavy favorite against Minnesota. That game is going to be in Eugene. Only 2 home games left. which is a great time for me to remind you guys, are you going to an Oregon game this season, Duck fans? If you are, the Oakway Lifestyle Center at the corner of Oakway and Coburg is the destination for Duck fans. Whatever you're looking for, they've got it all. Get a bite to eat at Summerville Brewing or PF Chang's. Check out shops like Lululemon or Nordstrom Rack. Need a place to stay? Book your lodging at the Hyatt Place at Oakway Center and visit their rooftop bar. The Oakway Lifestyle Center is walking distance from Austin Stadium, has something for everybody, and is a great post-game place to celebrate another Duck victory. Max Torres and Landon Tengwall back with you on the Ducks Dish podcast here on a wonderful Wednesday afternoon. We're hopping into the film room, which you can enjoy if you're on the ScoopDuck on 3 YouTube channel. So if you're listening to us, definitely come check out the YouTube channel and come and check us out at scoopduck.com. $1 gets you a sub started. And you get a complimentary year of access to The Athletic. With that being said, Landon, let's hop into the tape. What do you think?
Let's do it. So we're going to go Oregon run game, and then we're going to Oregon run defense. I think we want to encapsulate how Oregon beat Iowa at their game, which is up front. So right here, we got to give a lot of love to Poncho in this one. He has been playing better than any center I've seen in all of America. So what he has right here, he's got a combo block with Pregnon. And what I want you to see, Pregnon's going to go 2 hands in, and I want you to see kind of this gallop technique. So he's going to kind of hesitate, load. You see that like dip. He kind of dips down a little bit and then gets, and the thing you want to always attack is the hip. If you're able to attack the hip of the defensive lineman, the hip will move. That it doesn't matter if you're 330 pounds, the hip's going to move. So you see that boom, that hit into it. This foot is fully up off the ground. It allows Pregnon to kind of seal this thing off, completely turn him, and then climb up on this linebacker and not only get on the linebacker, but boom, you see that turn right there? He knows where his running back is trying to go. Opens up that hole for him. Beautiful job right there. And that's what I've seen all day from Poncho here in the middle. Just great job opening up these holes. All right. So next play, you're going to see the same thing and just physical, just finishing, dude. Putting guys in the dirt.
Worked that guy.
Oh, yeah. Pregnon too. So we'll go here first. So same exact thing. He's going to load into this thing, gallop, boom, just smack it over. Makes it really easy for the right guard to overtake this. And then I'm climbing up, getting on this thing right here, and now just driving him. And that's what I like to see right there. Every offensive lineman, you like to finish like that right on top of him, Max. I mean, come on. It doesn't get much better than that. So beautiful job right here. Like this is just the nastiness I've seen. Like this, when people say, oh, Oregon's physical up front finally, it's like, no, like they've been doing this. This is the nastiness I've seen from them for a while now. So one more time here. Now this one, it's only like a 1 yard gain, but like this is the physicalness that you see. So what I want you to see here from Poncho is that he's going to check his right gap. Right now, he actually has a double team with the right guard. And what you're going to see is he's going to go, he steps, and he sees that this kind of goes away. 95 kind of steps away, and you see this defensive tackle slanting into his gap. And so he doesn't have to, and this is where some centers miss this, but this is what we call brace back. So he braces back into this thing. Instead of just climbing straight up to 36, he braces back. He pops both feet in the ground, and watch him just absolutely bang, just light this guy up to the point. This guy's like a pinball machine. The way he hits him, watch this defensive tackle right here get hit by Poncho, boom, and then like hits, I think he hits World right there. He's just getting pushed around and gets up on the backer. So not a big gain there, but I just really want to highlight Poncho because he is playing at, I think, an All-American level at center. I haven't seen a center that's playing at a higher level than him at this moment. So I thought that was really
not
great.
Even Logan Jones on the other team.
No, that would be the one guy I would put up there with him. But I just watching him, I don't know. It's fun. Now right here, this one, Pregnon. So now it's going to be a little bit different. You got a different alignment. So instead of Poncho being the guy that gets to be the second guy that goes into it, he's going to be the initial guy that gets into this defensive tackle. So he goes 2 hands in, and now it's Pregnon's turn to say, hey, I'm going to hit this hip and knock this guy over. And my God, goes flying. That it's never been easier for Poncho to overtake that. Pregnon gets up on the linebacker. Beautiful job here. I mean, just beautiful stuff. This is the stuff that gets me giddy here, Max. I'll tell you what. But that's you call displacing a defensive tackle. And a lot of times when guys do this right here and just destroy someone, they get too far into it. But Pregnon does a great job tossing it over. And now we're getting right up on 36. That is absolutely perfect. Shout out Jamari Johnson, too, for his great blocking all day. Great blocking all day from Johnson. So that was absolutely great to see. And then right here, we got to show Pregnon. I'm talking about Poncho a lot. Pregnon's also been playing at an extremely high level. That's the physicality. Like, once again, this is a 2-yard run, but this is why Oregon was able to win. They were coming with this mindset, bow, just exploding into guys, making them pay. So I thought that was really cool to see all day long. Sometimes you're only going to get a yard or two. They're on scholarship too, the other team. That's what coaches always say. But if you just bring that physicality every single play, it's going to be a good day. That is for sure. And then this last one, I just wanted to show gritty run here by Whittington. I mean, we got to count how many misses we got here. I mean, offensive line blocks it up really well. Same thing. You do a great job. Pregnon driving his man out of the hole. Once again, you get Poncho up here and just one missed tackle. We'll go 2 missed tackle, 3, 4, and finally the 5th man takes him down. I mean, that's what you got to go along with, some physical run blocking, some physical running along with it. So I thought that was fantastic to see. Now, sorry, you got anything?
I was just going to talk about Noah for a second, because you said how great Poncho's been playing. I mean, this might be the best football that Noah Whittington's been playing since he's gotten to Oregon. You had people asking, myself, I was probably at the forefront of this, like, is Noah Whittington the same player as he was before he got injured in 2023? We didn't quite see that. We saw flashes. He had that great kick return against Boise State, but it was just kind of inconsistent. And then now, I think this is his second 100-yard game of the year. He just really seems like he's rounding into formation, rounding into form. Him and Davison are killing it. De'Aaron Hill is doing a great job. The Ducks didn't even maybe need Jalen Lamar. I don't know if he was available in this game, but he didn't play in this game. So you got to give a shout out to Noah. He's playing some tremendous football.
Absolutely. Embarrassment of riches at running back right here. And then so we'll go to the Oregon run defense. And these first couple are all Bear Alexander. Watching the tape, I made a tweet about it. He's just been popping off the tape consistently. So right here, what I want you to see is, and this is hard because you're right in this center space. I'm thinking I'm going to go right into him as a defensive lineman, and instantly, boom, he goes away. You have to recognize, now I got this right guard. And this is an easy block generally for the guard. When they're getting down on you and you're not expecting it, that's really easy for them to wash this down. Watch him put one hand into and the right guard is really good too for Iowa, puts one hand into this thing, extends, kind of tosses him to the side a little bit, eyes in the backfield, and then shed, boom, and help make the tackle right there. That's beautiful defensive tackle play. And this is kind of stuff that's hard to see in the game, but he's having such an impact. And honestly, part of this too is you see the running back wants to go right about here, but that can't happen because Bear jacks his guy up and then throws him and helps make the tackle right there. So that is a beautiful rep right there from Bear Alexander. Next play here, once again, just being physical, taking up 2 guys and making the tackle here. So they're going to go quarterback draw. And what I want you to see, you kind of start to get into a pass rush, and Bear goes inside here and basically kind of gets double team, and Jones is able to kind of work around him, but fights off the right guard, fights kind of through Jones, tosses him off. He basically has 2 guys on him and is able to, boom, get on Gronowski, take him down. I mean, like I said, it's not every single time is it super flashy or super obvious that Bear's like excelling, but you turn on the tape and it's like, man, this guy is just making play after play after play. All right, next play right here, just jacking up this right guard. He was giving it to 58 all day long. I'll tell you, 58's a really, really good player. So he's going to slant inside. I want you to see 58's head. So watch how he's getting into this thing and watch. Boom. You see that extension? That's when GMs and the NFL and all that, when they say they want elite strike, this is a strike. Boom. Extend. And now you see his eyes are in the backfield. Like, he is controlling this right now. He's got hands in, eyes in the backfield. He's just waiting. Okay, now I see where the running back's going. I'm going to toss 58 this way. I'm going to get off, make the tackle. I mean, just dominance, in controlling the line of scrimmage. I said Bear Alexander was a big reason why they had the game they had up front. And it was one of Iowa's worst day on the grounds, this entire year, really. All right, right here, once again, just beautiful stuff. Bear, and versatile, playing the nose right here. And what I want you to see is gets double teamed. So watch this hand he puts on Logan Jones. I mean, these are 2 top tier interior offensive linemen in all of college football. Boom. And it looks like he's up. He's not. I've watched it from a couple different angles. This isn't hands to the face. He's got his cloth right up into the kind of in the chin, just controlling this center right here, and then has a hand in the guard and just fighting both of them off, tosses both of them. And this running back sees this. I can't go right here because Bear's right here. So now I'm going to try to cut back, and Bear still gets in on the tackle. So just like I said, like a lot of times, it's hard to notice this stuff when you're just watching the game, but it's so cool to turn this on and just see how physical he was against what I think is one of the most physical offensive lines in all of college football. And he was taking it to him even when he was double teamed. So really, really cool stuff to see there. Next one, and this was a little bit of just, I just wanted to show overall Mateo here. Fantastic job taking on this puller. Watch Mateo dent this thing in. Ready? So the puller comes, turn up, bow, just gets really low up under him, completely stonewalls this. So the running back can't get outside because the way that Mateo just stops this thing. And you also got, I love the patience here from Mixon. He doesn't just shoot. He's like, all right, we got it good. I'm going to wait. I have contained. This is just great understanding of I don't need to go be Superman and make the play right now. I'm going to keep contained and make sure we handle this thing. Bear even does a good job inside holding this thing, and the running back just has nowhere to go. And because Mixon just waits, and now we can attack it together, and he's going down for no gain or even a little bit of a loss. So just overall, it was just a great job by this defense of understanding how to contain an Iowa run game that really likes to get outside. And then this last rep, once again, I believe Bear had a pretty good, Bear gets in the backfield here, but overall good rep by the entire defense. So this is supposed to really hit, here, I'll let it run for a second. This is supposed to basically hit kind of right up in here, but Bear gets such great penetration that look, he's 3 yards
on
in
the ball.
backfield.
Yeah,
I mean, come on. So, right here, I believe that's Washington. Like this running back, this is an oh crap. Like I just got to try to get outside because this has been blown up. To dominate the interior of the Iowa offensive line has me so impressed by this Oregon defensive line. But to get back there, I mean, talk about meeting at the running back, but do a great job here. Tuioti kind of holding that edge, and then we run down, and you let all the boys collide on that thing, and he's going down for a very minimal gain. So that's everything I got, but I just wanted to show how dominant this was up front of a performance on both sides of the ball for Oregon. I thought it was beautiful.
No, that's amazing stuff, Landon. This is why we love having you on the show, because you can share your insights and analysis on what we're actually seeing, and then from the player's perspective, obviously, is just tremendous. I think I already said it, but like Oregon's roster was really built for this kind of a game. They can beat you with explosive playmakers, guys like Decorian Moore, who's usually available, or Kenyon Sadiq if you have to. But hey, if it's just a rock fight and they want to take it right at you, running the ball, they can. And then you look at the guys on the D line, they were rotating so heavily. We saw Ashton Porter, Jericho Johnson, Aiden Breland, who was called for one of the worst hands to the face penalties that we've seen potentially this season, just after dog walking his offensive lineman back into the pocket. But it is what it is. And then Tatum had a great game. Mateo had some flashy plays. Amari looked good. Bear continues to look good. Like this is where you want to be if you're Tony Tuioti and this defensive line for Oregon.
Yeah, just a gritty performance once again. I would be really proud of these guys, and like I said, to be able to Iowa offense that prides themselves on being able to run the football and giving them one of their worst rushing performances of the season is definitely something to hang your hat on and something to build upon too, especially when you're going to continue to probably play some really good rushing attacks. If the season ended today, I think just the way that these games are going to shake out, I doubt it'll actually end up being Oregon and Notre Dame. But if you do have to play on Notre Dame, you got to come with some stuff because they have a fantastic run game with Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price and a good offensive line. So you're going to need this in the playoffs. So continue to stack on this. But I mean, just one hell of a performance from these guys.
And the last thing I'll maybe end on here, Landon, I'm curious to get your thoughts on it. Like, obviously, Iowa isn't a team that's known for passing the ball, but I think this is a really good barometer of just the type of offensive line that Oregon can go against, the caliber of offensive line that the Ducks can go against and come out on top. I think that the biggest question kind of remaining about this group is, hey, can you consistently generate pressure when you are facing a team that has a prolific passing offense, when you have a great quarterback that can just sit back in the pocket, and if you give him, 2-3 seconds, you're in trouble, because it seems like that's kind of an area where they've, I don't know about necessarily say lacking, because even though the pressure hasn't necessarily always been there in the form of sacks or hurries, like you're not necessarily getting diced up in the passing game. But we know that once the playoffs come around, when you're going against a team like USC that has Jacoby Lane and Mekhi Lemon, you're going to need to get to the quarterback. You've got to get home and finish plays.
Yeah, that's a absolutely great point. That's the one thing I'm probably most excited for against USC. And they will try to get that ball out pretty quick at times. A lot of screen stuff, a lot of trickery. So that's going to be another great test for this Oregon team. I think you get a good one, kind of a, knock on wood, but a kind of a tune-up game at home in Eugene Friday night, where you get to, kind of just tee off on a somewhat weak team here coming into town and have some fun on this one. So excited to see that. And then, yeah, we'll definitely have to dive into that USC Oregon matchup. I'm really excited for that one, Max.
100%. I'm excited for that one too. I mean, one of the best rivalries, potentially the best rivalry on the West Coast when it comes to college football. Man, it was a treat having you on, Landon. Anything else that you have going on over there on the Landon Tengwall show that you think listeners might be interested or you want to make them aware of?
Not too much. I would say definitely if your other teams, my YouTube right now is definitely mainly Penn State, especially with all the craziness that's going on with our coaching search. But if you do want to see more Oregon content from me, make sure to follow me at Landon Tengwall on Twitter. You'll see a variety. I'm going to be covering all of the college football playoffs, especially for Oregon, Indiana, Ohio State, and Notre Dame. Those are kind of my main other teams that I cover right now. So if you just want to be kind of ready for the playoffs, see to all 22 clips like I'm posting here. I did something on Poncho on Twitter and making a ton of different posts. So I would say if you're an Oregon fan, definitely follow me on Twitter because you're going to see a lot of Oregon content on there, especially Friday night. I will definitely be live tweeting that one as well.
All right, there you go. You guys know where to find Landon, one of our favorite guests that we have here on the show. If you want to find more of me, you can find me anywhere at mtorres sports. Subscribe to the Scoop Duck on 3 YouTube channel, and do us a favor, share the Ducks Dish podcast with everyone you know. If they like football, let them know about it. But a huge thank you to Landon for coming on, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode of the Ducks Dish podcast.